time for Blumpkin&Friends, starring your host, the Reverend Johnny Blumpkin.
This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass!
Hey kids, I'm the Reverend Johnny Blumpkin, and with me today is my friend,
Nurse Ashley.
Nurse Ashley is back. And today, I felt like we should talk about failure. Because it's fun to watch other people fall down. It might not be funny that they're getting injured, but you don't expect it. And somebody's like, hey, watch this. And then they fucking shatter their leg.
That's funny, though.
To me, not to them so much.
Well, it would be later.
So before we delve right into our topic, tell me about your shitty day that you said you've had. It's been so long and so laborious. And what's going on?
Oh, well, I generally see 6 patients a day at work. Today I saw 8. That included 2 specimens. One was a urine specimen.
Okay. I was going to go specimen.
And the second was a stool sample.
Yes!
That I got to collect, so that was a lot of fun.
Okay, so do they poop in the toilet and then you scoop it out, or do you try to get them to poop into a cup?
No, they poop into a hat. You know, the thing that you stick inside the toilet to catch urine and feces?
I guess.
Yeah, they poop in there, and then they have like these little, in elementary school when you used to get like cups of sherbet or ice cream and they have those wooden spoons with them?
Uh-huh.
That's kind of what you dig it out with.
Rather than just like gloving up and just grabbing it and then putting it.
That would be easier.
Smash it into the sample cup like it's fucking Play-Doh and you're trying to put it away.
Well, the whole point to it is to get a sample from 3 different areas of like the log, basically. There was no real log in this scenario. It was mostly just like pouring soup over bread.
Oh God, that sounds delicious.
So that was lots of fun. Lots of phone calls with doctors and offices and yada, yada, yada.
But not laboratories about poop?
No, I just dropped them off at the laboratory.
Oh. Do you ever just walk in and just be like gangster style, just mic drop, just like, here's the shit, bah, and just walk away?
No, because you have to wait for them to check to make sure it's okay. Otherwise, you might have to get a new specimen.
God damn it.
Yeah, it sucks.
God, life is so difficult. Sometimes it just...
You just can't even just shit anymore.
You can't just be dramatic and walk in and be like, you want some shit? Take it. Just drop it on the desk. Just a Ziploc bag with a cup full of poop right on a desk next to somebody's fucking lunch.
No,
because they're working through their break in that scenario.
Right.
We, as always, are in my basement, and it's getting to be towards winter, so it's kind of cold. My hands are icy like death. How hard are your nipples?
They're not.
Well, give it some time.
I've got like 4 layers on.
4 layers. But yet you said you're still cold.
Because it's cold in here.
Well, what are you wearing on your feet for starters?
No-show socks.
Those aren't even like socks. Those look like the foot condoms you put on to try shoes.
That's basically what they are, just more sturdy, durable.
An extra layer of material, perhaps?
Something like that.
Yes.
But they don't show in my dress shoes when I wear, like, ballet flats like I'm wearing or was wearing.
Oh, really?
Have you ever accidentally, broken a bone?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's failure. So tell me all about that.
Which bone?
Fucking wow me with a variety of stories. If there's more than one, why must I choose?
Well, you don't have to choose. When I was 17 or 18 years old, I was wrestling with one of the neighbor guys.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, we were clothed. Don't get too excited.
I still like where this is going.
Giggity!
And my foot got stuck underneath the couch, and he rolled me at that point and broke my ankle.
Oh, shit.
Another time I was just minding my own business, walking down the stairs at work, and broke my foot.
Just walking downstairs?
Just walking downstairs.
Just like you're suffering from extreme osteoporosis?
I didn't trip. I didn't slip. I didn't fall. I just stepped and heard a crunch and had some pain. So I said, all right, when I'm done with my work day, I'm going to go to the doctor. And I had a couple of fractures in my foot. That landed me in a really sexy knee-high boot for a while.
Knee-high boot.
It was awesome.
That's just like the boot my mom had to wear when she broke her leg.
Yeah, they suck.
Which that story, I don't know if I've told before on the air, is hilarious because they were getting a new garage door installed that day. I was at work, and my dad was at work, and she went outside to see how it looked. Well, she got off the front stoop and stepped onto the driveway and slipped and broke her fucking leg, like her lower leg. Well, she was crying out for help, which in and of itself, my mom most likely being in her nightgown on the ground and it's cold, crying out for help is fucking hilarious.
And nobody's there to hear her.
Because
everybody's at work.
Yeah, everybody else in the neighborhood has fucking jobs, Linda. What's your problem? So the guy working on the garage door doesn't hear her because he's got a radio going in the garage.
They're still there at that point?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
So she gets up and tries to walk on it and slips again. So at that point, it became a spiral fracture.
Oh, shit.
Yes. So then she, on her 4'11" chubby hands and knees, crawls back into the house and then calls my dad at work. And then I think she might have notified the guy in the garage or not. I don't know. That's not important. She got a walking boot. And for the next, I don't even know how long, we had to bring the computer chair upstairs and drag her. You can't push her because of how much she weighs. Her center of gravity is very low.
You just get like, I don't know, one of those neat little things that you put your knee on, like a knee scooter?
For in the house?
Yeah.
This isn't the house from fucking Silver Spoons. There's not much area. It's just going.
They're very thin.
She'd crawl up the steps on her hands and knees like a retarded child. And then she'd like prop herself into the computer chair only to be dragged. Not wheeled or pushed, dragged. Because the carpet and the wheels on the computer chair were being stressed almost to the point of I don't know what. Fracture.
Right.
And just to wheel her into the kitchen so she could stuff her face. So every time she had to go somewhere in the house, there was crawling and there was wheeling her around. And I have video, and you know what? I'm going to get the audio of that involved in this episode when I'm editing. The audio of her sitting in a chair waiting to go somewhere. My dad pulls out the van and him trying to wheel her off the carpet into the foyer, like 3 feet closer to the door, and then her with a fucking walker going out the door. It was so arduous of a process. You would think that she had just suffered some sort of Civil War era amputation surgery.
Kelly, over here. I'm not taking the chair outside. Remember, we do this number. This is fun. Yeah, we're at home. Will you let me get my boot down? Well, would you let me hang on to it instead of you? Who's disabled here, me or you?
It's fucking terrible. So she's wearing this moon boot that looks like NASA sent her a Nerf shoe. Who fucking designs those things?
Doctors.
You know, what happens if you break your foot and you don't have medical insurance? You try to set the bone yourself and then you duct tape 2 pillows around your leg for 3 months.
Well, I don't know if the pillows would really give you much support.
Well, I'm sure that a lot of people that are too poor to go to the doctor don't necessarily sit there and argue over the logistics of their own homemade orthotics.
Well, their pillows are probably pretty flat if they can't afford, much.
Not
They're
Linda.
probably using like old pillows, with like slobber stains all over them.
Well, it's going around your foot, so the DNA is not really of a concern.
I suppose.
You're listening to Blumpkin&Friends.
I had a guy when I was working as an assisted living nurse who went up to the liquor store in his power wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
And his power wheelchair got a flat tire.
Yes.
And so he's about 3 miles away at a liquor store with a flat tire, can't go anywhere, can't walk, obviously, because he is in a wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
And so he called us. We called 911. They went to go pick him up but couldn't move the wheelchair. So they actually had to call a tow truck.
Oh, Jesus
to
Christ.
go pick up the wheelchair. Oh, and this is in Robbinsdale, okay? Really classy area, super nice,
Because the situation itself already starts off sounding very dignified.
True. So we get him back to the facility and, don't go places that is too far away to get back, blah, 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 blah. So about a week and a half later, he goes back down to the liquor store, same one, and he loses all power to his wheelchair. All power. The battery just dies.
Is he fat?
Yes, he's a large man.
Okay, so he's using twice the amount of battery power as the average person. It's just like when you put a 9-year-old in a fucking Power Wheels Jeep.
Exactly. Anyway, so breaks down again. Calls us. We just automatically, obviously, call the tow truck at this point. So for his 2 trips to the liquor store at $145 a pop to hook up his power wheelchair, his words, totally worth it.
Really?
Yes.
That is an alcoholic right
He
there.
is an alcoholic through and through. I don't know if he's still alive at this point. If he didn't die from like cirrhosis or Hep B or C or something.
Hep B. Well, I broke my left arm in 1st grade.
You were jacking off that vigorously?
Well, first off, I'm right-handed, so it would be hilarious if I went to masturbate southpaw.
Doesn't it feel
and then
different?
Yeah, it feels like a fucking retarded person. But
You haven't gotten good at that yet to where it doesn't feel like you can't
left-handed?
do it?
No. Why would I jack off stale fish?
I'm not sure what that means, but we're
Skateboarding
just...
term.
Okay.
So I'm on the swings, and the bell rings for us to go inside. And I'm fucking high up, too. I am going, like, all the way to the point where I'm almost eye level with the bar. I don't know why I thought it was so fun to go so high. So then I let myself get about 1 or 2 more momentums back and forth. Revolutions, if you will. And then I jumped off, thinking I was going to go high and then land on all fours like a cat.
No, you went straight forward, didn't you?
I did, and then I landed on my back with my left arm underneath me somehow.
Ow. Ow.
Nice.
Yeah, and then, like, I didn't feel the break, but then, like, I just kept walking around, like, my arm feels like it's dead. I don't know, it felt like this weird light tingle, and then it swelled some.
Oh, yeah.
And so I got to wear a cast, and because it was the end of the school year, I got to wear it all fucking summer long when it was
Fun.
hot and sweaty and smelled, and I didn't
You
think...
probably smelled anyway if you were a 1st grade boy.
Probably.
They stink like dirt and earwax.
Earwax.
Yeah, I don't know. They just smell bad.
Like a bar of soap they use in the shower just to rub earwax stink on themselves? Or...
Maybe. Or maybe because they stick their fingers in every orifice they have.
Oh, yeah. Wait, not everyone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kids are gross.
God. So when it came time to get the cast off, I didn't know what they were going to do to take it off. Mm-hmm. It's like a pneumatic pizza cutter. Well, nobody told me that until the second she fired it up. And I freaked out. Oh, my God. I think I got up and tried to leave the room because the whole time they're like trying to hold me down. And I'm like, Dad, shit. Direct quote, I'll never forget. Those are my words. And then she's like, hey, you need to watch your mouth. And if I would have had the wherewithal like that I had 3 years after that, I would have been like, fuck you, lady. You're about to slice my arm off.
But she didn't, did she?
She didn't. And she had to be just nerve-wracked trying to cut this thing off as I'm, flailing like someone who's being kidnapped in broad daylight at a Mexican vacation resort.
It's always fun trying to give injections to people who are terrified of needles, too.
Well, stop trying to give injections to people that don't
They need
suspect
them.
it. They need them.
They do need them.
Hey, are you feeling a little amped up today? You want some Thorazine? Hold still, bitch! I'm fucking riding her. It's like the rodeo.
So back when I was working in Robbinsdale, once again, I was at the lovely North Memorial Hospital in the psych ward, not as a patient, as a nurse. I went there to discuss one of my patients, looking at discharging from the unit. I walk onto the unit. They make me empty out all of my pockets. I can't have my pencil. I can't have my pen. I can't have my pop can. I was not allowed to carry anything in with me.
You're thirsty and you can't take notes.
Right. Exactly. So here I am. I've never been there before. I say, oh, where's the nursing station? And they say it's down at the end of the hall. Well, why would you want to corner your nurses at the end of the hall in a mental ward?
Corridor of death.
Right. But I'm like, okay, whatever, not thinking anything of it. I'm walking down the hall. All of a sudden, from behind me comes this lady who jumps on my back, tackles me to the ground, and rips out clumps of my hair.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. I have no idea who this woman is. I've never seen her before. She literally attacks me from behind. So I'm screaming. because what else do you do in a sneak attack? And it was kind of like the situation that you're speaking of where they just stabbed her with a bunch of drugs.
Gotcha, bitch!
Oh.
And pretty soon she was fine again.
Oh.
I never did go back to that specific floor. And I probably never will.
Understandable.
Yeah, that kind of sucked. So that was kind of a failure on my part, not watching my back for crazy people
How
jumping
big
at
was
me.
she?
Not big at all. She was probably 120 pounds.
What the fuck?
She flew at me from behind.
You're making her sound like a Mexican luchador.
I don't even know what a luchador is, but...
It's those masked wrestlers down in Mexico
Oh,
that
okay.
fly all
Yes,
over the
I do
place.
know what those are.
Okay, so like a Rey Mysterio with a vagina leapt onto your back.
Yes. Well, it was pretty much like that.
And then just starts clawing out clumps
I don't know
of
if
hair.
you know this, but people who are not in their right mind are not in their right mind.
I thought you were going to say that they harness an extra powerful superhuman form of strength.
They do.
So she had crazy bitch strength.
Pretty much.
Is that similar to retard strength?
I don't know.
Well, the next time there's a car crash, bring somebody with Down syndrome, because I guarantee you that Corky will hoist that car right off the person.
You bastard!
If you're an old man who demands on still changing his own oil and that jack gives out one time and then your old LeSaber's sitting on your chest, you better hope that the nephew that you have over that day is retarded. Because he will one-arm that shit off there like the Toxic Avenger and save you. Those are the episodes of Rescue 911 that William Shatner never put out.
I loved Rescue 911.
Everybody did.
Probably.
Well, unless, of course, you were featured on the show and you're just like, oh, I'm reliving all my pain. When I was 5, this is the year before I broke my arm, I was riding my little red bike with training wheels.
At 5. A little
Yeah,
slow.
Fucking, I don't know. And so I had this shovel, like a big fucking almost comical size sand shovel with a notch in the handle. Mm-hmm. So I hung it on my handlebars.
Makes
So I
sense.
was going to the end of the cul-de-sac to play in the sandbox. What it really was is an undeveloped patch of grass that was just fucking sand.
Okay.
Down the driveway, rounded the corner, to the right, get to about the mailbox, and I'm looking as the shovel's rocking. I'm like, that's weird. And then it goes into my spokes, and I go over the handlebars. And I smash my mouth into the pavement. So my dad had watched me go down the driveway and saw me put the shovel handle on the fucking handlebar of my bike.
And let you...
He was washing his truck.
Survival
He didn't
of the
think anything
fittest?
of it. I don't know. He probably didn't dawn on him that I was going to have a hilarious accident. So I'm crying, and I put 4 teeth into my lip, and then when my permanent teeth came in, my top 2 were like bladed, offset, crooked, and I needed braces because of it.
Dad should have warned you.
I didn't get braces for like 9 years after that. You want to talk about like a fucking long process. Like, hey, by the way, remember that thing that happened to you when you were only 5? Boom. Permanent reasons to feel self-conscious about it. And now we're going to crank down in your mouth with metal and make your whole jaw hurt. Fuck you, health partners.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Oh, boy.
What other bones have you broken? I like pain stories.
That's it. I've only broken my foot and my ankle.
Oh.
I got nothing.
What is wrong with you?
I have lots of like fun nursing stories about broken bones. Like this little old lady. Well, she wasn't little, but she was old.
Well, at least we got that correct. We can agree upon her age.
She was pushing her walker into the elevator at a facility that I was at, and she was run over by a lady driving one of those motorized scooters.
Uh-huh.
And so this lady stopped on top of her foot because she screamed after the first set of wheel went over her.
Right.
So she screams, and this lady stops right on top of her foot, and then the doors start to close, and it knocks her over, just obliterating her ankle. It was so bad.
Unfortunately, they had to put her down.
They did not put
She
her
passed.
down. She did not
She
pass.
passed.
She failed.
Wow, fuck. Jesus Christ.
Oh, that was one of the most gnarly things ever. You know how you see like some of those sports videos where like the foot is like this, but the leg is straight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. And then the doors kept just closing, and nobody was smart enough to push the hold open button, so they just kept closing on her. It was so bad.
If I was rich, I wouldn't like just sit at home in my rich person mansion. I'd go out in public dressed very normal, and then I would watch other people at stores and shit like fall down and have arguments and stuff. Because that's really, you could write me the best scripted drama on TV. You could give me another Breaking Bad, but it's nothing on couples fighting in public. I fucking love that shit.
I try not to ever fight in public, but there were some, the gloves were off tonight, so we weren't in public though.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
You're listening to Blumpkin&Friends.
I failed my driving test the first 2 times.
2 times?
So I got it on the 3rd try.
Uh-oh, retard alert!
Meatloaf says 2 out of 3 ain't bad, I guess.
Well, except that I failed 2 out of 3 times, so that is kind of bad. So Bob and his bitch tits can fuck off. The first time, I had some issues parallel parking. And then she said, all right, well, okay, let's go out on the street. And we're driving down East Main Street in Anoka. And there's a turn lane to go into what used to be a Burger King many years ago. Well, there was already a van in the turn lane. She's like, well, get in the turn lane. I'm like, there's another vehicle. Well, no, you can go. I'm like, there's not room for both of us. Yes, there is. No, there's not. It's a single fucking turn lane with 1 car width to it. And they were turning after me. So I'm not going to get in front of them because if we almost crash, I fail the test. So they go by me, and then I turn. I barely get into the turn lane, and I turn. And she charged me with turning from the wrong lane. That was an automatic fail. So I had the wits to not cause an accident, and I explained to her, this all happened in 5 seconds. I explained to her why I wasn't going to do what she told me to do because I didn't want to cause an accident. And then she fucking fails me anyway.
Cocksucker!
What a bitch. That's rotten.
I have never failed a test.
And then in the second...
Except for a pregnancy test.
Well,
that's the only one that I've failed before.
I hate when that happens.
I know.
God damn it. So the second time I was going through the neighborhood around the license center, and the guy's like, how come you're going so slow? I'm like, well, there's kids over there. I guess I'm just being extra careful. Well, you know the speed limit. Yes, it's 30, I know. So he dings me points for going slower than 30. I lost points for being overly cautious again.
Were you going like 5 miles an hour?
No, I was going like...
Were you impeding traffic?
No one was behind me. I was on a fucking residential street where nobody else was going 21 miles an hour. I'm sorry that I'm not going fast enough for you to keep cranking out fucking applicants every 10 minutes.
It's your face.
I don't know what that would have... Why would that matter?
Pissed him off.
But I had hair back then.
On your face?
Oh, wait, no, I didn't. I didn't have hair back then.
That's what it is.
It was because I had a bald head.
Yes.
I think he had a bald head. He should have felt akin to me.
He was probably upset because he couldn't grow hair and you chose not to.
No, that would probably piss me off. But then what failed the test for me was the backing into a spot parking. That time I nailed the parallel and I'm backing up into the thing, right?
How do you suck that bad?
Because they only let you pull ahead one time. If you're in real life, how many fucking attempts do you get to park into spot if you're backing in?
If you're me, 1.
As many as it takes, though. This asshole, because, once again, he's in a rush. And they got the stupid little, orange cones with the stupid
pole.
Little pole.
So you got out and danced?
My mirror, nicked it and made it rock a little. He's like, well, if that was a car. Vehicle, you would have hit a vehicle. I'm like, yeah, but if it was real life, I would have pulled out multiple times because I wasn't restricted to once. He's like, well. And then we get to the end. He's like, okay, well, maybe next time. And I want to be like, are you fucking serious? Maybe next time? You don't let me take all the time it needs to park properly, and then you complain that I drove too slow? I hope you go home and you fall down the stairs and stub your dick. And then it snaps right off. And then the dog eats it.
So do you park now? Or
I
do you
pull into
just
spots.
find whatever is the furthest away from everybody else?
Oh no, I find pulling in between vehicles. I haven't hit a parked car in
5 days, at least
16 years.
The beast.
However, it's been a few years now, but maybe she just stopped telling me.
All right, speaking of car accidents. So I'm 21 years old.
Yeah.
And my ex-boyfriend asks me if I want to meet up with him and have a couple of drinks.
Oh.
Hang out. He was in town visiting. Sure. So my current boyfriend and I go to meet my ex-boyfriend for drinks. And he just bought a brand new Beamer.
Oh.
Had a few too many drinks and says, "Hey, Ash, will you drive, my car home?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah. I'll drive your brand new Beamer home."
Of course. Why not?
So setting the tone, I've got, jeans on with like knee-high boots with a heel on them. Super cute boots.
Great for driving.
Yeah, really good for driving. So we pull into his mom's house where he was staying for the weekend.
Uh-huh.
And I was smoking at the time, and I threw the cigarette out the window, but it bounced off the window and came back into the car.
Oh.
Like
yes.
right in between my legs.
I love when these things happen on TV, but in real life, that's even better.
Yeah, so not fun. So I stand up on the brake to reach for the cigarette butt that is possibly burning a, brand new car's interior or my crotch.
Right.
And my foot slips off of the brake and wedges the gas down straight forward into his mom's garage. And we're talking like I put her down too. Inside the garage, before I hit it, was a tool bench, a toolbox, 2 4-wheelers. I pushed the toolbox, I pushed the toolbox, the whatever, the table behind you, like a working table, whatever. I pushed that and one of the ATVs straight out the back of the vehicle. Or out of the back of the garage.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. My boyfriend was right behind me in my car, watched the entire thing happen. My ex-boyfriend is yelling at me to take my foot off the gas, and I can't. My foot is wedged down.
Turn the vehicle off.
Well, that's what I ended up doing. But in the moment, I was like, oh my God, what do I do? So his stepdad comes upstairs, looks, says, "Are you guys okay?" Yeah. Walks back downstairs. Not another word at all. I was like, fuck. So I get out and I'm going, okay, how does this happen? Like, how did this happen? What just happened? And I'm a wreck because I have now smashed the car, 2 4-wheelers, toolbox. The back of the house is like half missing. This is no small amount of damage.
You got yourself a breeze room.
Oh my gosh. It was so bad. Well, the moral of the story is it wasn't a complete failure. Because my boyfriend got a job out of it, residing the house after it was rebuilt.
That's nice. It's the least I could do. As long as your insurance checks out.
Right. It ended up being like $52,000 worth of damage.
God damn.
Yep.
That's
moral of the story? Don't wear hooker boots while driving.
For anything.
Yep.
There was a guy in high school that worked at a window company. He misjudged some distance on some doors, and he put the fork tines on the forklift through $22,000 worth of glass doors.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Whoops. But back to the car thing. It's funny how when you're in those oh shit moments, the vehicle's doing something I don't expect, that you do the wrong thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Like my mom letting me learn how to drive with their golf cart, and then the dog starts running out in front of us, and she goes, "Hit the brakes," and I hit the gas a little, and we jerked forward, and then I hit the brakes, and she wouldn't let me drive it again for 2 weeks. I didn't even hit him. And this relates to number one fan Tim, who sitting on his parents' golf cart with his friend Alex up north, and Tim is standing away from us. And Alex was like, "I dare you to tap the gas." We were at a slight decline. And I tapped the gas. and the brake came off, and it started to roll forward. So I jumped off, and I tried to grab the front of the golf cart, as if I am going to harness He-Man strength to stop a golf cart, which is bright purple, by the way.
Awesome.
Yes. To stop a golf cart from going forward and running over a gray water pipe, which it did. And then it turned into a geyser, which my father, the plumber, had to fix.
Nice.
Because hundreds of gallons of water spewed out of the ground. And Tim's dad's like, why didn't you just hit the brake? And I'm like, fuck!
Oh, that thing! Damn!
Yes, well, here's another good story like that. It didn't happen to me, but a former coworker of mine, he was kind of a failure at life. He knocked up his girlfriend at her prom, when he was 19, and then it just never panned out because they weren't together. So he was working at Menards and living in his parents' basement because he couldn't drive because he had epilepsy, and his money went to child support. So he starts dating one of the hottest cashiers that ever worked there. And he gets to this point one day where she's at his apartment, and he's finally going to nail her.
Until he has a seizure.
No.
Oh.
God, that would have been even funnier.
That would have.
So she asked him if he had a condom, and he said no. So she shut him down. He never fucked her. And then he told me this story, and then, like, a light bulb goes off in my head. I'm like, well, see, here's the thing about that. You lived across the parking lot from Food and Fuel. Yeah, it's a convenience store. Okay? They sell condoms. And he just looks up at the ceiling like Charlie Brown, just like, oh, no. I'm like, dude, you were like 100 yards away from the promised land. You could have gone and got the condom and come back and fucked Tasha. And you did. He's just like, God damn it, I wish you wouldn't have told me. It ruined his day.
Probably ruined his life.
It might have. It might have.
Sad.
You
Sad,
know
sad story.
You know what's great about stories that involve failure and sex? Is when they're due to misinformation.
Like, I'm really a man and I forgot to tell you?
Well, see, that's more trickery. But
Well, misinformation.
Well, that's
you were
not,
misinformed
no, you
that
were
I had a
misled.
vagina.
Yeah. So they pull off their pants and then... No, this has to do with the first chick that I ever loved, who was my first major girlfriend in high school, and I was trying to nail her. We were trying to have sex. On multiple occasions, we tried to have sex. It wouldn't work. Now, she was very petite, but I'm not hung like a Pringles can or anything. So the reason it didn't work is because I just took her pants off, because we had a small window of opportunity to pull this off, and I just tried to just jam my dick in her.
Right.
No foreplay.
No spit, no nothing.
I didn't know about spitting on it back then. I didn't have an older brother to be like, dude, you got to get her wet. The reason you got getting your dick in her is because you're not getting her pussy wet. So either finger her or fucking spit into her cooch hole. I had nobody to give me that
Why
information.
can't you just spit on your dick?
Because it's a smaller area to aim for. And once the spit hits the tip of my dick is not like an opening that will absorb the spit. It'll roll off the dick and then get all over wherever I'm at. Or it might miss my dick and then go on my leg, and then I got spit on my balls, and just to get real close to a vagina and spit into
You've got spit on your balls and you're worried I'll spit on your balls? Really? What do you think happens during a blowjob?
I don't get spit on my balls.
Well, then she's not very fun.
Or she's not like a retarded person with a wide open jaw that you're fucking while she's sleeping. That sounds like a rape blowjob. Who wants that much slobber on their crotch? Oh yeah, that felt so good. Now I'm gonna go get a hand towel and try to dry off my balls. I'm just gonna throw these boxers in the laundry because they're soaked. It looks like I had an accident.
Dumbass.
Anyway, so yes, I tried so hard to have sex with her, and it never took because I didn't get her wet. And much like the story with my coworker having somebody else tell him what he should have done, which should have been very obvious. Someone goes, well, did you get her wet? I just went, no!
Frustrating.
You want to talk about ruined your day. Yes, isn't that terrible? I really cared about this girl. I
don't feel bad for you.
I was going to lose my virginity to somebody that I loved. Instead, I lost my virginity to some slut behind school on the smoking trail because I used my salesmanship and a can of Orange Crush to ply her to make me want to go into the woods with her. And that was just for a BJ. And then I so very gingerly said, why are we both pretending we don't want to fuck? And then I nailed her on the ground, on top of a Valley Fair beach towel.
My first time was in my sister's grandma's bed.
That's weird.
I know, right?
Did it smell like Ben Gay?
Probably. I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was disappointing, to say the least.
There's a great deal of failure that comes with intercourse. And I think some of the best sex stories are the ones where you fail.
No.
Yeah, no.
I prefer the grand champion ones. Like, you were like, yeah.
Well,
that was awesome.
You recall them for your own personal entertainment. I mean, for other people's
yes.
entertainment.
It's probably much more entertaining.
And like I thought of an entire genre of porn that would be failure porn. Just mishaps in the bedroom.
And you're the main star in like all of them.
I got a couple stories that I could apply to it. You know, I had a chick bounce on top of me so hard one time that it slipped out, and then she sat down on it.
Oh, that probably hurt her butt too.
Like I really cared about that. My penis cracked like a knuckle. It was like,
She broke my dick!
and then, yeah, but it was sudden. It was sudden, not like a
Right.
slow series of cracks like there were multiple segments of my dick. It's not a caterpillar. Anyways, so
Caterpillars don't have bones.
she goes up, she comes down, the dick gets caught in between her holes, it bends,
That hurts.
down, it bends down.
It hurts the woman.
You can't
too.
bend a boner down.
She broke my dick!
It pops like a knuckle, and then instead of going flaccid, it stays as long as it was when it was hard because the blood was trapped. But it wasn't upright, so it was like a boner that had been broken off at the connection point. It was just hanging there. And to this day, I have still always referred to as the dick breaker.
Shout out.
So, yes, that is a big bunch of fail right there.
That is a big bunch of fail.
Are you
There's
ready?
So much more fail.
Are you ready to make your next attempt at the RPS challenge?
Oh, yes, I am.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Blumpkin&Friends proudly brings to you the Rock, Paper, Scissors Intercontinental Championship Challenge Championship of the World! What we have is champion number 1 fan Tim going up against Nurse Ashley. I have his hands on my phone. So how it goes is you have 5 hands of rock, paper, or scissors. In the event of a tie, we will go to overtime, which is of 3. After that, I don't know what happens. Last time I played for Tim, he lost the title, so maybe I'll do that again. Because it's about
Hey, that
failure.
works.
Maybe I'll fail.
Yes.
Then you'll get your name on the RPS wall of
My name
champions.
is up there.
You'll get it on there again. The juice is on there twice, as is number 1 fan Tim.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It looks like H1 Phantom.
Shut up. You have H1 fan Tim.
Is that like the
it's fucking-
swine flu
yeah,
or something?
H1N1 vaginas.
Oh.
Okay, so let me just move the microphone a little bit so I can write here. Okay. Hand number 1.
Paper.
Number 1 fan Tim also threw a paper.
Of course he would.
Of course he would. Hand number 2.
Scissors.
Number 1 fan Tim threw a paper.
I figured as much.
Point for you. Why?
Just 'cause.
Hand number 3.
Paper.
He threw a scissors.
Damn it.
So 1-1. Hand number 4.
Rock.
Took you forever, and he also threw a rock.
It probably took him that long too.
Hand number 5.
Rock.
He threw a scissors.
Yay!
So
me.
if you're keeping track at home, the winner and new Rock Paper Scissors Intercontinental Championship Challenge champion, Nurse Ashley.
You win!
Boy, championship reigns for Tim do not last very long. 1 episode on average. It is bad. Sorry about that.
He just wanted to prove the whole failure thing again for you.
Well, no, I was hoping it would go to overtime so I could play for him. But it didn't pan out that way. It would have been hilarious, and I'm clearly not trying to collude with you to make him lose the championship. But
He slipped me $5.
he slipped you $5. No, I did not.
Yes, he did.
Because I don't carry cash.
And the answers. I had to make it riveting right up to the end there. That's what he told me. He promised not to beat me this time.
Yes, because this is high drama radio right here. It's like it's a fireside chat where Roosevelt's telling the country where we're about to make our next excursion. And just so you know, we're going into, wait for it, Africa. Interact with the show on Twitter at Blumpkin Show. That is at Blumpkin Show. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/Blumpkin&Friends. I'm the Reverend Johnny Blumpkin.
And I'm Nurse Ashley.
Good night.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a friend and a confidant. And if you threw a party and you invited everyone you knew, you would see the greatest gift would be from me. And the concierge would say, thank you from Blumpkin&Friends.